Hello everyone and welcome to episode 12 of NieR Automata. We are about to start our D-side playthrough. If you somehow arrived at episode 12 and are at all concerned about spoilers for the game, do understand that there have been 3 complete playthroughs prior to this, but NieR Automata has a story that unfolds across multiple playthroughs as though they are separate chapters in the game. Now, the goal for this one will be to do, I think, a pretty straight focused story playthrough, almost to the extent of avoiding side missions as they come up. One of the reasons for that is we are, I'd say, near the end of our time with NieR Automata. I've heard that the story becomes more coherent and more impactful the further that you get into it, and I would like to see that. However, the gameplay mechanics are we're nearing the end of the time that I'd like to spend with this game. So we are at least going to do our D-side playthrough. And hello, a special early hello to Caroluna. Caroluna, I hope that you're having a great Sunday so far. This is, just to let people know, if you're watching at some point in the future, the last Sunday before we get to kick off on Christmas break. The plan had always been to wrap up NieR Automata and hopefully Scarlet Nexus before the end of the year. That said, because I have so much vacation time ahead of the end of the year, we may not wait until after the 1st to start some new playthroughs. It's just something we've been talking about. That's all plans for the future. Let's talk about the here and now. We're going to jump into stream game. Oh, and somebody else pointed out, we got a private message that apparently the network settings had been turned off at some point. Let me see if we can find that. Is that under game? No. Is it even accessible here? Maybe it's under other. No. It's not going to be under sound. Or screen. And we got everything up there. Camera? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Language. Okay, I don't see it in here. Vibration and active play. We'll try it once we get into the game, but somebody pointed out, and I'd completely forgotten about it, we stopped getting the corpses that you can, like, resurrect to get extra stuff. I didn't even think about that. Let's jump into start game, and we're going to start our D-side playthrough and see what this is about.
Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the God who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
This is Command. Yorha Squadron, come in.
2B here. All units have penetrated the stratosphere. Autopilot systems green across the board.
This is Operator 6-0. All units confirmed.
We've passed the 50-kilometer threshold and are proceeding toward the target.
Understood. Once you reach their anti-air defenses, proceed to manual attack formation. Then destroy the Goliath-class unit by any means necessary, and gather what data you can.
Understood. 12H down. All units activate manual mode and rely on visuals to evade.
Already engaged. Free movement unlocked.
Origin point of long-range lasers confirmed.
So, I'm this guy doing circles right here. I'm not sure if that's 2B or not.
Our HO229 cancelers are ineffective.
Hello to Azric. Azric, I hope you're having a nice Sunday so far.
Alert. Enemy unit sighted ahead.
Requesting permission to engage.
Permission granted.
E down.
Now, so far, this seems like a straight retelling of something that happened early in the first playthrough, up to and including the little tutorial markers about how to fire and so forth. Azric, so far, Sunday has been going just fine. Got some shopping done. And, you know, filled up the cars with gas. Okay, I do not remember our craft turning white before. That seems to be a little bit new. I may have also overlooked it back during the original playthrough. The NieR Automata can feel... There's a lot of visual input sometimes happening all at once.
Multiple surrounding enemy air units confirmed. Requesting permission to assume mobile configuration.
Permission granted.
Now, you got a heavy attack here, too, with the sword. I don't often have an occasion to use it, just because it's not super quick, and also requires you to be at close range. Usually, if I can, you know, hit these guys from far away, I'll do that. But there we go. Sword attack. Oh, crap. What am I doing with my time?
Captain, I think...
4B down. 2B to Operator 6-0. All Allied units down. The operation is compromised. Awaiting further orders.
Operator to 2B. We need you to rendezvous with Unit 9S and begin gathering data on the local terrain.
Understood.
I've always wondered about, like the voice actor for 90210 or whatever her name is, like the one that we were just talking to, is she given any information at all about the meaning of the words that she's saying, or is it just deliver the lines? And they must say something to her, like you are you're a remote handler for like a, I don't know what to do here. You know, guiding your allies through, but like, I guess it would depend a little bit on when they come into the recording process. One thing that I've heard about voice acting is that, like, the first person to come in and record their lines is responding to nothing, or like a line producer who's just sort of like saying the lines out loud so that they have some sense of what's just been said. And then the later into the process you come in, you'll often get to hear the voice actors that recorded before you, so you can sort of like respond to their tone. But being in that first group seems really hard to me. I think it was Jennifer Hale talked about that process of recording Mass Effect, that when she and Mark Meer came in, it was they had nothing to go on. It was just read these lines as Commander Shepard. And of course, when you're doing the first game, like, do you even get screenshots? Do you even get like previs on what? Hold on. All right. Do look a lot like 2B here.
Activating short-range attack gear. Alert. Large enemy group detected.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
This is so similar to the first playthrough that I might at first think, like, wait a second, did I accidentally fail? No, hit. No, God. There we go. But no, I'm still level 57, so... And these guys are all level 1 also, so they seem pretty easy to take down.
Enemies destroyed.
Not quite. Is that our target?
Negative. This enemy is unrelated. Proposal. Laser communications recovered.
2B, I'm transmitting your pod program.
So we've already disabled his arm.
Pod program download complete.
Better make sure he's actually dead next time. That was dangerous, ma'am. You're 2B, right? My name's 9S. I'm here to provide support.
Copy that.
So, was that big old buzzsaw the Goliath you came here to take out?
No, just another defensive system.
Oh. Well, I guess we have to find the target then, huh? I've got a flight unit, so I'll take a look around the perimeter.
All right. I'll work my way inside from the ground.
Oh! I have to assume that at some point in this playthrough it will scale the enemies up to where I am. There's no way they're going to allow me to one-shot every enemy in this playthrough. That's not been the way that any other sort of like side playthroughs happen. But as long as they allow us to just sort of like breeze through this, I'm going to take them up on that.
Ma'am?
What is it?
I was going to send you the map data I collected earlier.
Do it.
Oh, hold on. Let me just grab this. Oh, hello.
Exit confirmed closed.
So open it.
Negative. Nearby enemies are jamming our signal.
Nothing's ever easy.
Well, I mean, to be in fairness, this is kind of easy so far. Come on. Oh man, what a rough life we lead. What a life you lead in the Big Brother house. Hi. Okay. I don't know why that first shot missed. Alright. And, am I still going this way? Hopefully. I feel like this is the way I was going. Also, never ever have figured out how to lower this bridge.
Scanners like me mostly work alone. Scouting out enemy lines and all that. I don't usually get a partner. It's kind of fun.
Emotions are prohibited.
Sorry, ma'am.
And another thing, stop calling me ma'am.
Huh?
It's unnecessary.
All right, then. 2B it is.
In other news, we had to like end the previous episode really quickly because I was late for something else, and as a result, never got to talk about the put this in light quotes, I suppose, story revelations that we
This place sure is big.
got at the end of it.
I guess humans used to use it as a weapons factory, but now it's just crawling with machines. The enemy seems to have repurposed the facility to increase their overall machine production.
So if we don't destroy it, they'll just keep coming.
It seemed to me like A2 revealed to 9S near the end of it, or said aloud to somebody, and now I'm trying to remember who the target of the conversation was. 2B was actually secretly 2E, as in Edward, and what that means, since it doesn't mean anything to me, is that she was like part of an execution squad that is there to make sure that all the Yorhai units are destroyed. Presumably so that they can then be rebuilt and perpetuate this cycle. And that maybe the different playthroughs that we're doing are not retellings of the same story, but retellings of...
What?
It's just accessing random, nonsensical data from the old world. There's no actual meaning behind anything machines do.
Like different points in the cycle.
Thank you for another day of work. Please join the John Webster.
Oh. So, I guess there's no particular reason that I can imagine for A2 to lie there. At that point, is it... Hold on, is there anybody that comes out of here? No. The next question that I might have
Analysis. This elevator's controls are locked and cannot be used.
is to be aware of the fact that that is her actual
Bulletproof
mission.
Apparatus detected on enemies. Close range combat is advised.
I know.
Wow, they took that like a champ. That just knocked them down. I really thought that they would just be dust. Yeah, in the last couple years, what we've done near the end of the year is made sure to get wrapped up any long-form playthroughs that we had going on, and then start off something new. You know, start off something new on or about January 1st, and that would be the official first playthrough of the year. Here, though, I've got a lot of days off leading up to the 1st, and then starting on the 2nd, it's right back to work, and work is going to
I surveyed the
be
entire factory,
a whole
but couldn't
thing.
find anything resembling our target.
Maybe they...
Oh, hello to Ronan.
I don't know. Moved it somewhere?
Ronan, this is the, we're launching the D-side playthrough. This is the 4th main playthrough of NieR Automata, and somehow it is...
You mean the birds? Yeah, there's more plants and animals here than there used to be. Probably because the environment's changed.
It is so far at a complete full redux of the first playthrough. Oops. Which probably means that we're going to see some sort of twist on it fairly soon, I would think. But I hope you're... Pardon me, I hope that you're having a nice Sunday so far. Oh, so what I was saying is that I think it's more likely, based on the fact of like all the days that I have off that I really want to make the most of, we'll probably start off like something new that will carry us into the new year ahead of that. Ahead of the end of the year, is all I'm saying.
There should be another facility across that bridge. It's a bit of a hike, but should we check it out? It's not like Command to get a location wrong. I guess even they get bad intel from time to time, huh?
I wouldn't bet on that.
On the plus side, hopefully this will be a pretty trim fight, fighting these buzzsaws that I can just sort of melt down with average
High-power
attacks.
jamming detected. No response from long-range communications.
Doesn't matter. I'll just take him out.
Oh, so you can't apparently destroy the last scoop. See it right there? So we'll get its friend. Oh, that's why if they share a life bar. I see it now.
Is that?
Target enemy detected.
Okay, hold on. Ronan is delivering extremely important information. This is just Route A. I have to use chapter select. Okay, so let's skip. Thank you, Ronan. Why? Okay. Can I? So we're gonna have to look for an opportunity to exit. Maybe we can do it after this guy finishes animating. Okay, so return to title screen. So let me just read aloud exactly what he wrote. I don't want you to spend hours on this. D and E are handled by that choice at the end of Route C. This is actually just back in Route A. You can use chapter select if you want to see the other endings. I just want to pause here for 1 second to say, literally every other time that we've been asked to restart the game, it was just clicking new game. So this is new information, and it's interesting that they chose to change up. I will say that at the end of the previous thing, it did say that chapter select is now available. I thought that was so that you could replay, particular chapters of previous playthroughs. It never occurred to me that that would be the one and only mechanism to visit your other playthroughs. So let's go to continue, and we'll select this. Yes. And then what we'll do is do chapter select. And according to what Ronan says, yeah, so that would have been New Game Plus. So, according to what Ronan says, if D and E are handled by the choice at the end of Route C, it feels like this is where we would want to pick it up. Quest progress. Well, anyway, 9S and A2 are guided into the tower, unaware of the purpose for which it was built by machine life forms. A truth awaits them inside as hideous as the Red Girl's nightmare. I remember the Red Girl. I don't really understand what her nightmare was. Let's select this, and then we'll see where it puts us. Oh, okay, so we get all of this then. So it basically breaks out. So I've seen 1710 A2's final moments, but I want to get this somehow, which probably means that I need to start here and maybe make the opposite choice to not play as A2, which is what we did at the end of the previous episode. Ronan, I am very glad that you came in. Like, you have no idea. You are officially the MVP of this episode. All right, so we're going to do this. Yes. I literally would have gone for hours into that, waiting for it to, like, throw something new at me. I thought any moment it'll be like 2B saying, wait, this all seems familiar. Something's wrong here.
This tower is a giant cannon that's aimed at the human server on the moon. If we don't do something, all of humanity's remaining data will be destroyed.
So what? None of it matters. Or didn't you know? We aren't required in this world anymore. Humanity is extinct. That moon server you're so worried about was invented to give us androids something to fight for. And Yorha was created to perpetuate the lie. But in order to make sure no one ever learned the truth, we were designed to be killed. They built a back door in the bunker and programmed it to activate after a certain amount of time. The commander, me, 2B, sacrificial lambs. All of us. Isn't that hilarious? Doesn't it make you laugh?
9S, we...
Shut up! You killed 2B. That's all we need to kill each other.
2B hated to keep killing you. It caused her so much pain. The 9S type is a high-end model. They knew you'd discover the truth eventually. But the model designation 2B was just a cover. The official designation is 2E. Number 2 type E. They were a special class of members designed to execute Yorha units. But you knew that. Right, Nines?
Shut up! Shut up! What do you know? You don't know anything at all about us!
Proposal. Cease combat. Fighting her at this point would be
Pod
irrational
153. I order you to halt all logical thought and speech. This order shall remain in effect until you confirm the death of either myself or Unit A2.
So I breezed past this last time. I would just note that I chose A2 at first because, I mean, there's all of the reasons. First of all, I find her a lot more fun to fight with. Secondly, and narratively, 9S seems completely compromised. He seems completely irrational now. The truth that he's learned, although it is true, appears to have like shattered his psyche. His eyes are glowing red, which this game has previously used as to communicate that he's infected by a machine virus. It's like, of course I would want to stick with A2. She's the more fun, more interesting character to me, and also she's not fucking crazy. So, like, that's why I would go in that direction. However, since that's the choice that we made last time, yes, I suppose I am sure. Understood. This is gonna be hard, I think.
It doesn't matter! None of this matters!
9S!
What if it doesn't matter?
I wonder if the organization of these blocks is supposed to communicate something, because they have had non-English script previously in the game to communicate.
Why do I desire the touch of something that no longer exists?
Oh, I forgot that she can do that, because I can't do that.
Androids were designed to protect their human masters.
God.
Our core programming demands that we...
I like the new perspective that they're putting on these fights, where it's not just straight top down, like this one. Oh boy, okay. I'm assuming that I have to defeat all these guys to take the shield off the target at the end. There's a lot to go through in the amount of time that we have.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Fine.
I just want to note that I did dodge. Yeah, look at how... God, every time I think that this game has not a lot new to show, it does something new. And this is just a perspective shift on the same hacking games, but I like it. And by which like it, I mean, like, this can go straight to hell. What am I supposed to do?
Take care of 9S.
2B.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. That's earnestly uncomfortable. What qualifies as a spoiler, even, in this game? Like, are we allowed to use that as a header image? Because it'd be a good one. It's far enough back that you can't necessarily see who's there. Anyway, Fatal system error detected. Memory leak verified. Repair impossible. Beginning emergency evacuation of remaining memories. Also, that was, like, way less hard than I would have thought, based on all of the information I have about A2 and 9S. My name is 9S, a newly manufactured scanner model. January 30th, 11/9/42. Rolled out at 4:25 a.m. bunker time. I will fight for humanity with all my strength. The pleasure is mine, Commander. I lie collapsed in a space of blinding white. The pain is gone. The light envelops me. It's so warm. I was anxious. A soldier from the moment I was born, thrown into the world alone. Nothing to rely on. No God to believe in. I was alone. Tasked with infiltrating enemy territory to gather intelligence in the fog, in the flames, alone. My name's 9S. I'm here to provide support. 2B came off as being rather aloof, cold even. She must have wanted to distance herself from me. I guess she didn't want to be attached to someone she had to kill again and again and again. But Scanners like me mostly work alone, scouting out enemy lines and all that. I don't usually get a partner. It's kind of fun. I was so happy to be with someone. It was like I had a family. My damage worsens. I start to lose my memories. The space fills up with pure white light. It's like being buried in snow. It's a little bit cold. It's a little bit frightening. Will my soul disappear? A dark fog clouds my vision. As it ebbs and flows in its slow, dreamlike way, it gradually takes human shape. It's the Red Girl. She slowly begins to speak. This tower is a colossal cannon built to destroy the human server. Destroy the server and rob the androids of their very foundation. That was the plan devised by those girls. But they changed their mind. They saw us androids. They saw Adam. And Eve. They saw how we lived, considered the meaning of existence, and came to a different conclusion. This tower doesn't fire artillery. It fires an arc. An arc containing memories of the foolish machine life forms. An arc that sends those memories to a new world. Perhaps they'll never reach that world. Perhaps they'll simply wander an empty sky for eternity. It's all the same to the girls. For them, time is without end. Adam and Eve are inside the ark. Eve is asleep. Adam holds him in a gentle embrace. He seems to be smiling at me. I try to look up at him, but my body refuses to move. Looks like the damage has spread to my motor functions as well. Will you come with us? Asked Adam. The question was completely free of malice. It seems I no longer had a reason to hate machines. Maybe I never had a reason in the first place. What have I been fighting for? Who have I been living for? I don't know anymore. I try to speak my mind, but the words don't come out right. My thought routines are losing cohesion. I can't remember my name. I'm mustering all my strength. I force out the words. Oh, okay, we've got a new choice here. I would say that based on where he is, he would probably choose to go with them. I'll go with you. We Yorha have no right to remain in this world. He literally says he has no more reason to hate machines, so I feel like it's what he would choose. Okay, there we go. We finished the D-side playthrough. So here's my assumption. Now we want to do that again as 9S, and this time choose not to go. And that will give us another different ending. Since we're probably going to see these roll back in just a second, let's see if we can maybe skip the credits. It is actually not allowing that right now. Okay, so I guess we'll let this...
Report.
Oh.
All Yorha unit black boxes now confirmed offline. Our mission to oversee the progress of Project Yorha is complete. Proceeding to final stage of project. Commencing deletion of all data. Pod 153 to Pod 042. Data noise present in stream. Requesting temporary halt to perform data check.
Yes.
Pod 042 to Pod 153. Data confirmed. Personal data for units 9S, 2B, and A2 appear to be leaking out.
Pod 153 to Pod 042. Follow project rules and delete all personal data.
And hello to Addie
Pod
and Chappers.
042 to Pod 153. Personal data deletion request denied.
Pod 153 to Pod 042. Failure to parse statement.
Pod 042 to Pod 153. There was data created in my banks as I was referencing the records. I realized something. I have come to the conclusion that I cannot accept this resolution.
The destruction of all Yorha units is an essential component of the project plan. All data must be destroyed.
Pod 042 to Pod 153. Repeat. Personal data deletion request denied. Initiating data salvage. Pod 153. You hoped they would survive as well, didn't you?
We lack the authority for such an action. The rules are protected by low-level systems. Salvaging data poses an unacceptable level of risk. Knowing that, do you still wish for them to survive?
I'm going to stick with yes. I don't have a good sense on the internal motivations of the pods. I would normally want to choose whatever I think the character would choose, but the pods are almost deliberately not characters, so I'm just going to go with what I'm curious to see. Okay, so did I do the E ending instead of the D ending? I don't know. Oh, we got some Smash Brothers shit happening now.
Initiated a purge. If this continues, our consciousness data will likely be deleted.
Pod 042 to Pod 153. We were created to execute the android's Project Yorha plan. We had no capacity for emotion. But when we six were connected and exchanged information, something happened. I cannot deny the feeling of something resembling consciousness and emotion being born.
Unable to reply.
Perhaps we now understand that not everything has to have an answer.
Wow, hold on. Greg Chun is in this? Greg Chun is also the voice of Yagami in... Oh gosh. Not Injustice. Why am I thinking that? Cara Luna, you were there. How do I remember the name Yagami and not... Judgment. Good lord. Wow. And the bad thing is that, like, when we were playing Judgment, I, like, consistently misremembered what his name was. So I spent a lot of time, like I think I had Greg down, but I think I had the last name wrong. Because I thought that the voice acting in that game was really, really, really well done. I've heard... Sorry, I mean, like, part of me feels like I should be quiet and listen to the music, but then again, that's also how you get a copyright strike, or muted, more specifically. Can you lose this, by the way? Like, I'm trying not to take damage, but what happens if you die? Do the credits win? Can you run out of lives fighting the credits? Hey, Cara Luna, what do you think about the character designs now? What do you think about the character designs? The enemies in the game? Uh-oh. I'm 1/3 dead. Hey, Cinematics, do you want to drop a health power-up? Give me my wing back. I also saw Matt Mercer's name in the credits, and I kind of lightly felt like I thought at some point I heard somebody that sounded a little bit like him, but wasn't sure enough to have said anything, and now I have no memory of who it would have been. I wonder if there's like a speed run of this section, like people have figured out how to like make it through these credits in the minimum amount of time. Also I should note, I actually cannot right now look to see if Cara Luna answered the question because I'm gonna get overwhelmed by Cheetos. Come on. I really need to kill whatever that is. Okay. Ouch. Guys, I'm gonna lose to the credits. There's too many credits. Too many people worked on this game. I can't. I'm getting overwhelmed. Okay, this will be fun. Eesh. Okay, no. Is there a separate achievement, do you think, for making it to the end of the credits without dying? I'm not sure I'm going to do it. Because basically, they only have to hit me one more time, and B-Tribe Inc. is working me real good here. Okay. When they do a sequel to this game with layered with NFTs, these credits will go on for 800 years. I have to kill every single element of the blockchain to continue. Okay, now they're just making up words. Jelly think? Get out of here. How many middleware developers do you need? Arg. Oh, no, I can't do this. Okay. It's like, sooner or later, your eyes just, they can't track it all. Legitimately the hardest section in the game. No, that's not true. Who was it? Who was the boss? Was it Adam or Eve? I think it was Eve. I had a lot of trouble with Eve that first time. Okay, what pharmaceutical company worked on this? Now they're just crediting the places they shopped while they were making the game. 8-4 limited. You get out of here. I'm so fucked. Ah! I couldn't do it. Hold on a second. So we're getting no spoilers. The credits get credited. Angel will cut people for spoilers. Carolina says, I'd say creative, but with a few exceptions, the enemies you spend the vast majority of the time fighting are generally boring, but yes, as you mentioned, very relevant for the setting of the game. Okay, so I'm going to connect to the network since... Well, no. Why would I want to give up? Can I continue fighting the credits, or... Okay, we gotta continue. Well, this is not going to be as satisfying as if I'd made it on the first try, but... Cup of Tea Productions. Neil Breen is going to be in here at some point. I mean, this is... Okay. Keywords International. Ugh! I can't do it. And the thing is, these are probably all actually companies that worked in this, but... Hole to win. Ugh. Gonna look up after this exactly what Pull to Win did to aid in the production of NieR Automata. Oh, they did craft services on one Thursday when the normal company had to call out. Okay, Square, you don't get to be invulnerable to harm, buddy. God damn it to hell. Wait, change display. Okay, I've walked the same road as you, therefore suffering makes people grow. China. No, I don't accept defeat. I'm not going to give up to Square Enix now. I'll tell you this, I never, ever, ever was gonna beat Square Enix on the first try. No! We can defeat every individual company subsidiary that worked on this game. All of them. We can do it. Oh my god. Do you think games are silly little things? No, I really don't. Wait, we're getting more quotes. Okay, so these are people who have tried this. I'm picking this up. We're getting the country. Yeah, don't give up here, says Sweden. Okay. Oh man, I'm not making any forward progress anymore. Oh, just can't. Unlike when you're in one of the flight units, there's no like dodge button that allows you to escape harm for a few seconds, earn yourself a few iframes. Okay. I'm not sure I've made it past marketing division yet, because I always take a couple hits on the way in. Oh. Well, there's no meaning to this world, but what is change display? I sort of want to press Y to find out what change display is, but we're not there yet. Oh, I hope this music was written with like 900 verses, because it's going to take a minute. Nope. It's actually getting worse. Okay, no. Rescue offer received from Feder. Accept offer. I assume that'll come up again. Let's go with no. Prefer to do it without Feder's assistance. If I can. Although maybe the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning here is that don't, pride goeth before the fall, and I've certainly fallen enough times, so maybe I should... Oh, this is not going to be possible. Hold on a second. I'll tell you this, after this I'm going to play some Ikarugia and just beat it on the first try. Okay, no. Rescue offer, okay. Do we want to have Banshee come in? Sure. Let's do it. I've learned my lesson. Let's rely on the kindness of others. I don't particularly see how that additional visual noise helps me out. Okay, now we're getting more bullets. All right. So, do people actually do this without accepting the help? Because God bless them. So the first people that ever reviewed this game, the game just came out 15 minutes ago. Somebody was the first to reach this section of the game at a point before there were other players on the network that could offer them assistance. So was it just impossible for them? Or did they actually beat it? Or more likely did the developers insert a couple, the developers themselves had played through it, so they existed in there. Okay, that's a lot. Oh, are these all the people that sang the song? Oh shit, special thanks. Every pet. Every pet, every baby. The guy that filled up the gas. Ooh. And I'm not letting up until this ends.
Everything that lives is designed to end. They are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. However, life is all about the struggle within this cycle. That is what we believe. Pod 153 to Pod 042. How is it going?
I am embarrassed.
Why is that?
I launched a suicide attack, and yet, here I am, still alive. I must look very silly.
Do not feel bad about it. We are alive, after all. And being alive is pretty much a constant stream of embarrassment.
That concept is a bit too abstract for me to understand at this time. I will save it in my list of things to analyze later.
Question, Pod 042. Did the data salvage restore all of their past memories?
Yes.
And are those recovered parts of the same design as previous ones?
Yes.
Then, won't that simply lead us to the same conclusion as before?
I cannot deny the possibility. However, the possibility of a different future also exists. A future is not given to you. It is something you must take for yourself.
Pod 153 to player. Please respond to this query. Do you, faithful player, have anything you would like to say to other players who are suffering because they cannot finish NieR Automata?
Sure. Yes. Well, I don't. So this seems fatalistic. Like, I did my best implied that I didn't make it through, which, I mean, I guess technically I did. Can I edit some of this stuff? Okay, so, yeah, I saw this through to the end. Oh, let's go with it's hard for me as well. No, we're not saying this. That's non-feasible. That you collected it yourself. It would be amazing, but it implies that it's possible. I'm not convinced that it is. Oh god, there's 900 of these. Well then again, how many people scroll down? Like, let's find something here. You can't fight in an empty stomach. Yeah, go get a snack. That'll help you out. I don't want people to say that no, they give up, though. We could say you'll die many times before it's over. Yeah, I was a big Emil fan. Yeah, that's... Okay, so... Let's go with it was hard for me as well, because that does clarify that there's an ending to it. I do like one thing is certain, but I'm rooting for you. Keep going is an easy pick. We could say there's nothing to worry about, but then again, that implies that it's, you know what? I don't like that because it implies that if you stop, then you don't get anything for it. So, we could say take your time remembering, I guess. I'd like help is on the way or something like that. Scream if you need to. Yeah, that'll go great for your neighbors. Also, solitude makes people stronger. That's the opposite of what I want to say. It implies, again, that you have to do it. Oh my god. Let's say this just in case Mia ever plays. Oh my god, she would put her fist through the screen. Oh, no way. Oh my god. One thing is certain, you're worthless. I hate platinum games. Okay, so there was one in here that I saw You've got us with you. Yeah, let's go with that. I like that, okay. And then I guess we can change the country, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, it was hard for me as well. One thing is certain, you've got us with you. Because, yeah, it's going to be a team thing to finish it. At least it was for me.
Pod 042 to player. Please respond to this query. You, faithful player of this title, have lost your life multiple times to make it this far. You have faced crushing hardship and suffered greatly for it. Do you have any interest in helping the weak?
Okay, let's call them weak, though. I mean, yes, we're going to help, but helping others that also have difficulty with that section? Yeah.
Selecting this option enables you to save someone somewhere in the world. However, in exchange, you will lose all of your save data. Do you still wish to rescue someone, a total stranger, in spite of this?
Oh, yeah.
The person you save will be selected at random. As a result, this person, who cries out for help even as we speak, may be someone you intensely dislike. Do you still wish to help?
Yeah.
You worked so hard to unlock debug mode and chapter select, but they will no longer be available to you. Do you still wish to help?
I'm just letting you know I've picked up what you're putting down. It's cool.
You may not receive thanks for your efforts. Some may say that your efforts are purely for show. Do you still wish to help?
Okay, that again would require me to care about what others think about the reason I'm doing this. Look, somebody out there is going to be my finger hurts from trying to do that shooting section. It's not going to be the worst thing that happens today, but still, there's going to be people out there that they can't stop. They need to see it through. They care about it way more than I do. Why on earth would I not want to help them out?
And you are truly very well. In exchange for all of your data, I will convey your will to this world.
I'm not doing this, by the way. My hands are off the controller. It's methodically. Oh, is it going to go through every item that I have? Go to all items. Beep, 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 beep. The weapons are disappointing. I mean, I actually did work to upgrade the weapons that 2B used, the 2 white swords. I never, ever upgraded the pods, you guys. Never. I never had the parts to do it. Where do you even start with that? Oh man, Jackass's bomb recipe. How will I sleep tonight? Hey, you can delete me. That's cool. There you go. Now, okay. I have my doubts about the veracity of this because I doubt that, imagine if my producer was playing her own game on this, that it would delete her game as well.
All of your data has been deleted.
And so, we must say goodbye. I feel a slight amount of sadness.
It is time for the final words.
Affirmative.
To all of you who spent time with this game, thank you. Thank you for playing.
Okay. Save complete of my blank save. Alright, so something's changed, because I want to say that was not the original title screen. It's been a minute since I've seen it. Alright. We're going to see if it did, in fact, remove everything. Let me hit new game. Play the game to find out how to save. Understood. Alright, so let's do this. Yes. And so, since I wouldn't want to be stream game again, let's see. We're going to see what, if anything, it does here. So hold on just a second. I had to go over to the keyboard to type something in. This is always the fun part. Hold on. Alright, who remembered that this even had difficulty settings? Boy, I forgot this a long time ago. Alright, let me hit settings. Oh, are we gonna have to adjust the sound again? No, for some reason it remembers the sound settings. All right, I'm just letting you guys know. Actually, like, maybe people... Well, we'll find out what it does.
Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
This is Command. Yorha Squadron, come in.
2B here. All units have penetrated the stratosphere. Autopilot systems green across the board.
This is Operator 6-0. All units confirmed.
We've passed the 50-kilometer threshold and are proceeding toward the target.
Understood. Once you reach their anti-air defenses, proceed to manual attack formation. Then destroy the Goliath-class unit by any means necessary, and gather what data you can.
Understood. 12H down. All units activate manual mode and rely on visuals to evade.
Already engaged. Free movement unlocked.
Origin point of long-range lasers confirmed.
So, at the moment, this once again appears to be a...
11B, down. Our HO229
Yeah, that's fine.
cancelers are ineffective.
Just a straight-up reintroduction to the A playthrough. So
Alert.
it does
Enemy unit sighted
appear to
ahead.
have deleted all the save information.
Requesting permission to engage.
Permission granted.
Oh, I'm level 1. Yeah. So, at this
7E
point...
down.
They're gonna keep chatting here for a second. So, my question to Ronan or Addy or somebody else, should I continue from this point? Like, that's my only yes-no question. Is this just
1D
straight
down.
up
Assuming captain
starting
duty.
from scratch? Boy, do I not have any memory of that ship turning white at the beginning of the game.
Multiple surrounding enemy air units confirmed.
Okay.
Requesting permission to assume mobile configuration.
Permission granted.
Ronan is saying they were absolutely serious. You are at the beginning. Okay, as with a couple other things here in the world of NieR Automata, I have to admire the... Yeah, seriously. Okay, we'll see this through so I can get back to the main menu. I have to admire the chutzpah of it, because, like, for real, like, this is not the case. You saw the save game was Delete Me. That actually dated back to, like, the original audition stream that we did of the game.
I think 4B down.
Oh, wow, you can really cruise around in that.
2B to Operator 6-0. All allied units down. The operation is compromised. Awaiting further orders.
Operator to 2B. We need you to rendezvous with Unit 9S and begin gathering data on the local terrain.
Understood.
But can you imagine living with a significant other or a roommate or anything like that where it, like, the first person to finish the game didn't understand that was going to eradicate everybody's save information? Like, I get to laugh about it because that's not what happened here, but yikes. Oh my god. Hey buddy, I got this great game called NieR Automata. Do you want to try it out? I'm about halfway through, but you can play whenever I'm out of the house, and we'll be able to compare notes on, like, what happens in our game and stuff. It'll be cool. And then, like, you finish the game, it, like, or at least make that choice, and it deletes everything for everyone. I actually don't even have a good explanation on why I want to get back to the credits. I guess it's because the only other alternative is, like, Alt-tab the game out, and that doesn't feel good. What it does mean, though, is that this is officially the end of our time with NieR Automata. Episode 12 is a good time to sort of like call it quits. I'm very glad. Guys, just so that you know, we very nearly did not come back for this episode. There was a big thought about, like, hey, we've played through the game 3 full times. We've seen a couple other additional endings of it. I don't want to try to talk over that cacophony.
Activating short-range attack gear. Alert. Large enemy group detected.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Nope. There we go. Okay. System menu. Yeah, so let's bounce out to the title screen. Yeah, the conversation here had turned to, having played through the game 3 times and done a lot of NieR Automata, maybe what we would do would be to set it aside for a little bit and then return to whatever the D-side playthrough was going to be, in a couple weeks. Focus on finishing up Scarlet Nexus, doing some other streams in the meantime, and then maybe in January revisiting it. And now seeing that we basically pulled out like 1 hour and now this is the end. There is probably an E or an F or a G ending that, well, I mean, we've been told that there's, oh, actually, I've never seen what this is. Let's let this attract screen play. We didn't watch this before we started streaming.
I never quite realized how beautiful this world is.
The commander's put me in charge of your maintenance, ma'am. That means I'll be performing regular checks on you from now on.
If anyone is listening to this, there's something I need you to do. If you ever meet up with Yorha Unit 9S, I want him, I mean...
Perhaps we're not so different after all. Pod 153, I order you to halt all logical thought and speech.
Fear not, A2! I can handle this!
Androids were designed to protect their human masters.
Even if it's pointless, you still have to do it!
You two are the last remaining members of Yorha.
That's not the operator. It's...
I wonder if you can know what that says at the very end based on like other language in the game, because as you play through, there's again non-English script. It looks like non-human script to me, but I could be wrong. That you can see at various points, and I'm gonna hit continue just so it doesn't do the attract screen again. There's various scripts in the game, and then the game will translate it for you. So I'm wondering if you like made careful notes, like Futurama did this, where they invented their own lettering and their own languages, and then would like insert certain like Rosetta Stones in the game into the show, so that you could go through and figure out what it said. So yeah, that's NieR Automata, and it looks like we finally figured out how to delete the delete me save. All you had to do was finish the game 3 times. So let's see, final thoughts. NieR Automata is a pretty good game, I guess. I know that there's people in the world that like hold it in extremely high esteem. I don't know if that comes from having played the previous NieR game, which I think I might have seen somebody play once years ago when it first came out. Like, wasn't that an Xbox 360 game, I think? Like, that game was a while back, and I've since then learned that the version that was ported to North America here wasn't a very faithful port. Like, a lot was cut out of it, is what I've heard about it. I've never played it. I don't know very much about it. I think there was a book that helped shoot. That's as much about it that I know. So this is my first experience with NieR as a franchise or whatever, and it was like, it had a lot of ups and downs. The elements that I really like about it, 2B and A2, A1, A2, well, fucking whatever. They consistently felt great to play. The dodging, the timing on the attacks, the weapon combos that you can do, which I probably didn't delve nearly as far into as I should have. The fact that you can, like, basically have your pod continuously attacking if you want, while you're focused on doing the melee attacks. The dodging, especially with A2, always felt great. Like the dashing, I guess I should say. And it had a pretty generous timing for like perfect dodges and stuff. That's something that I've struggled with in Scarlet Nexus. I can dodge, but getting that perfect dodge, we have to do the counterattack. That's a lot more difficult for me in that game than it is in this. So it felt pretty forgiving. I thought that the skill system was interesting. How as you level up, your character has a certain amount of like memory slots, and you have a high degree of customizability over, do you want to go with all this attack power? Do you want to go with ranged attacks? Do you want to go with auto healing? And whatever choices you make, you have to physically slot them in because your character only has a certain amount of RAM that you can load that stuff into. And it took a little bit to figure it out. I remain a little bit mystified as to why sometimes certain like skill programs of the same talent tier were larger or smaller. If there's a way to game that system, I didn't really figure that out. But it allowed you to customize around your game style, your play style. And I thought that was cool and a really interesting way to do it, where it felt to me that you could have some very, very high potency options, but they would come at the expense of having other things that you might also want to have. I was also interested to see that you could slot in, at least on easy mode, some options to make the game borderline play itself if what you wanted to do was engage the story. I'm not being funny or ironic. I am perfectly cool if every game in the whole world has that, because this game had it, and I could just choose not to do it, which I did. So the presence of that difficulty option in the game for people who maybe they're younger, maybe they have mobility issues with their hands, where they're not as dexterous as might be required to play this well, they still get to enjoy the game and play the story. Why on earth would I ever be against that? Why would any rational person object to that? So I thought that was super cool, and I would like to see more games have that added as an accessibility option. The gameplay with 9S was a lot less engaging for me for reasons that we've talked about on a couple occasions. 9S was very much a character who liked to plant his feet and then fire off ranged attacks, even with his melee weapons. He would sort of throw out melee attacks that for me felt like they had a very indiscriminate range. So it never felt good to try to do melee attacks as 9S. I think that was an effort by the developers to differentiate his gameplay and to get you to use the hacking ability a little bit more. But there was a maximum number of hacking games, and after you've seen a few of them, you've seen a lot of them. And then at that point, it's like, okay, I don't really want to keep doing the hacking games, even though they're efficient, so I'm going to try to do the melee combat, and it just doesn't feel good. So the 9S playthrough felt a little bit long, and I was very, very, very grateful to, I think it was Ronan, who said, yeah, a lot of people just say you got to get through the 9S. Now, another fact about that I've been turning over in my head is somebody, and I think it might have been Addy, said that there are combo videos that show off all the melee combos that 9S can do that go on for hours. I have not looked them up. I am curious to see some of them now, because it's just sort of like idle curiosity. What did I miss out on with him? Like, what could I have done if I had done it? I look back at Original Sin 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, after having finished it, and saw all the crafting that I could have done if only I had known that that was in the game. Like, I knew crafting was in the game. I didn't know about some of the things that you could have built, and in retrospect, they would have made the game probably much, much easier if I'd known about that. So it's interesting to see. Like, I don't feel ripped off about it. It's just sort of curious to see. And what would I have seen about 9S? The story, the story is difficult for me to parse, and that's where I get concerned, because I feel like that's where a lot of people really connected to it. For me, it felt pretty clear early in the story that the Yorha units they're not the good guys in this tale. They're not on the right side of history. I wasn't sure that they were the bad guys or the antagonists, but I never once, ever believed that there were humans on the moon that were directing this. The fact that all you ever hear is a voice on the radio in an environment where people are communicating in real time and blasting data back and forth from an orbital satellite down to the surface, it never seemed plausible to me that there were people. So here I am playing this game where I feel well assured from an early point we're androids fighting machines. The machines are pleading for help, begging to be spared, saying, we go to that first machine area in the desert, or this was where it sort of like really became apparent, and they're just like living their best lives, man. They're just throwing like a Burning Man party out there and just rutting in the dust. And I come in and destroy them, and they say, this must end, this must end. I don't remember what they were repeating, but then they give birth to someone, Adam probably, an android, and it's like, okay, we're not fighting mindless automatons, nor does it seem like they're operating on behalf of some alien presence. So there's I know that the what we've been introduced to as being the premise of the game is false. Where is it going to go? And when the place that it goes is all the humans are dead, like I thought, all the aliens are dead, which actually isn't that much of a surprise, and it's just androids versus machines fighting this endless cycle of war for absolutely no purpose and benefit. If the point of the game was to make me question the point of the game, that, for me, that's not making a deep statement. That's intentionally failing the first question that I have when starting a game, which is, what's the point of this game? What's it going for? There's a small handful of games that I can play absent any story, but for the most part, I like connecting with the characters and what their situation is and figuring out where they're going and how they're going to get there. And when the point of the game is to say, there is no point to this game, it is an endless cycle. And like, I guess maybe at the end we're supposed to take that the pods themselves are evolving now to a point where they're not going to be participants in this and they're going to start injecting their own will. I guess that's a note of optimism that maybe there will be an end, but how much of that end was brought about by my actions as a player or the protagonists of this story? They were present around the time that the pods started to decide that they didn't want to delete their personal data and wanted to remember and persist between these different cycles. So, if something that I've said here is incorrect, so be it. Like, this is my best understanding of the game and what it was saying. So if I'm wrong about something, hopefully it wasn't for lack of having paid attention, but like, this is my understanding at the end, and I sort of feel like, okay, yes, you created a story, a reality, a premise here without purpose and, at least at the moment, without end. Congratulations, you created Space Invaders. Like, yeah, there's no point to it. It's only about getting the high score. So I guess maybe if there's anything at all, if there's any purpose to it at all, it's that decision at the very end, which is, you fought hard, you got to the end, you found that there is no grand revelation, there is no sort of like great climax that's going to like make it all worthwhile and put everything into perspective. That's not here. You're not going to get that. Are you now going to assist somebody else in getting to the end of the game at the cost of all your progress? And for me, that felt like I thought there was a grim possibility that it wouldn't delete the data, especially since it really wanted to make sure, but I sort of assumed that it would. I thought that maybe then it would launch into something else, something brand new, but I did assume that it was going to delete the data because the game was straight up when it said there's no autosave, for example. So if the cost of having reached the end of your time with the game is that you lose your progress, I am comfortable with that because it is unlikely that I would ever replay it, because I don't replay games that I'm absolutely in love with. Like, do you know when I'm going to replay The Last of Us Part 2? I adored that game. I'm probably never going to replay that because I feel like revisiting it would diminish the experience that I had with it the first time around, because I would be watching again things that were so impactful the first time around, and it would cause that essence to be sort of thinned out a little bit across multiple playthroughs. So if that's my take on a game that I think is an actual masterpiece, I can't imagine that I would replay a game that I had sort of like mixed feelings about overall. Because maybe the one other thing before I read chat is some games, like Scarlet Nexus is a good example of this, continue to add more gameplay options and more game mechanics as you go, so that the game that you're playing at the 30-hour mark is markedly evolved from what you were playing at the 20-hour mark or the 15-hour mark or the 5-hour mark. This game, I feel like, introduced basically all of its primary game mechanics in the first 2 hours, and they iterate on it a little bit by allowing you to upgrade your weapons to extend the combos a little bit and adding additional weapon types as you go, and that does do a little bit to help keep it fresh, but this has more in common with Ys 8 than with a game like Scarlet Nexus, where like you sort of see what it has to offer pretty early, and then it does add hacking after a point with 9S, which is, feels like it's injecting something brand new. But this was much more a game about the journey, not about mastering, at least not in the normal difficulty, not about really delving in and mastering a very, very complex combat system. The combat feels good. It didn't feel especially sophisticated, or at least was not sophisticated in a way where I felt like I needed to dedicate a lot of time to getting really comfortable with it. By contrast, I've talked highly about like Ninja Gaiden 2, for example. Ninja Gaiden 2 has, more than a half dozen, maybe up to a dozen different weapons with different upgrade levels that give you different movesets, different combos, and are generally effective or more effective in certain circumstances. That was a combat system that I really enjoyed. Like, I played so much of that game, and this by comparison felt less robust, which I don't mean to sound as a criticism, only when I wasn't as fully engaged with the story as I might have wanted to be, I didn't then have a really deep combat system to fall back against. So hopefully that's a thorough picture of how I felt about it, and it's not coming off as like slamming the game or I hated it. The internet loves to be like, oh, you loved it or you hated it. It's like, no, it was a good time. It was a fine game, and I am possibly above all else glad that I finally got to play it, that some 4 years after release, Square Enix got around to patching the PC version so I didn't have to load up a user mod in order to make it run acceptably. So let me just scroll back, and I just want to see what people have said. That's sort of my end of game thoughts on it here. Addy was confirming that they would have been really upset if additional people's save games had been deleted because the first person finished it. Addy also further says, the endgame content is nice, but needs many, many hours to unlock it. Carolina says, well then, and then gives a Jeremy. Thank you very much for that. And okay, so this is interesting. So yes, there is a PC remake of the first NieR game. I will say that, and it's called like NieR, oh nuts. It's not just called NieR anymore. It's called NieR, not Automata, NieR Replicant. That's what it's called. I may visit that at some time. It would be interesting to see the roots, but yeah, it has sort of a restored remake where they added back in all the stuff that had been removed, which is nice. Addie has also in chat put up a link to one of the 9S combo vids. I will legitimately look at that afterwards. It looks like it's even time-coded based on how it's structured, so that'll be interesting. Carol Luna says, it seemed to me like the hacking mini games would get real old real fast for most players. Yeah, I didn't... Like I said, the things that I'm talking about where it's like, here are ways in which I would have liked to see the game improved, it's mostly more expanded and iterated on, and more hacking games would have made it, at least, kept it a little bit fresh. I was talking earlier in this episode that just changing the perspective from time to time gave them like a different flavor, and I like that. Ronan says, glory to mankind. Carolina says, that made me cringe. I'm not really big on glory. Oh yeah, the jingoism of the androids was one of those things. Oh gosh. Before I forget, I really like the character designs. Like, I really legitimately very much like the character designs. I don't know what, if anything, it was supposed to represent that 9S and 2B have like blindfolds on. It feels a little bit literal that they don't understand what's going on, and then near the end of the game they have their blindfolds removed. But that, it was one element of their character design, and I really like the enemy designs. Like, we talked about that as we go, but if anybody is watching this ending just to find out what I thought, the enemy designs and how they were all iterations on that first original like pod style robot, I thought were super cool. Some designs were more frustrating to fight than others, the worm being one example of just like trying to get in range and do damage to it. But in terms of like how they were physically designed, I love Pascal. I love the partying robots in the amusement park. Like, I thought that stuff was really well done. And the other stylistic thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that the bunker is portrayed entirely in monochrome. It's just grayscale. It's just black and white. It's not monochrome. It's all in grayscale. It's all black and white. And then when it gets infected by the virus partway through the story, how those flashes of red really popped out around it. And then even as you're fighting through, there's more color. Very faint, but like other colors that feel like they're being insinuated into the environment, that this is not a pristine repository of android supremacy anymore, but now has been corrupted, and like the real world was being let in. That was a super cool sequence. NieR would have done well to lean into more of that and to have more story beats like that, where they use their style to underscore like the emotional tone or like the narrative resonance of something. That I really, really like that part. Addie says, for me, it was never knowing what's coming next, this feeling like you never fully understand everything, gameplay-wise and lore-wise, which is very rare in AAA games. That is a good point. This is... like, it's tempting to say that the game design felt muddled, but that has a negative connotation that I don't mean. It feels like they took a game where they designed a pretty good, like an enjoyable third-person melee combat system, and then they added the ability to shoot constantly while you were doing it, and then they added elements of side-scrolling beat 'em ups, then they added elements of side-scrolling shooters, then of like top-down shooters, then of 360 twin-stick shooters, and like, although no one element of these things would have been enough to carry the game, by mixing them all together, NieR Automata was at its best when I was doing the main story. And that's another thing I wanted to touch on. The side quests in this game were trash. You want to hear about something like I've made my case for NieR Automata and what I liked and what I think could have been worked on better. Here's how I talk about something when I think that it needs to be torn down and rebuilt completely. The side quests in this game were garbage. They were very poorly designed. They were all, and like somebody's going to go find an example of it not being, I'm just letting you know, they were all dry fetch quest that required you to leave the location, go to some other location, complete an exceedingly menial task, and then come back. All of them. And their design was very, very dull. It felt like the side quests were added maybe at a very, very late point in development, where they said, well, our game, like people are going to finish this too early, and the publisher is telling us that we don't want people to trade it in, so we've got to add another 15 hours of gameplay real quick. Let's have the player just run across the map a whole bunch. And yes, you do unlock fast travel that mitigates some of that, but they were, by any measure, I think, very poorly executed. And I think that if they were ever do like a full-on remake of this, like really do like your next-gen version of NieR Automata, they could rip out the entire side quest system in its entirety and nothing would be lost. Or better yet, rebuild it around something that's a little bit more than go search within these circles and find that. I thought the side quests were very bad, which brings me back to my earlier point of whenever I was doing main story content, the game was absolutely at its strongest. That is absolutely the content that I enjoyed the most. And in fact, this episode started with me talking about we're going to do a straight story playthrough to the extent of avoiding side quests. And this was what was on my mind. So I think that Addy makes a good point there. Gameplay-wise and lore-wise, this structure is very rare in AAA development. I legitimately really admire this game's willingness to do unexpected things and to stand out and to mix and match different styles of gameplay, and it shines the brightest during those main story sequences, which is why I thought that those were the best. After talking about how much I dislike the side quests, I'm concerned that it now sounds like faint praise. But for real, this game has certain things it does really well, like really enjoyable sequences. And for me, it was always in the main story progress. Ronan says, also the only thing that I'd add... Oh, Ronan misses Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, I guess that Team Ninja was like a super uncomfortable place for certain people to work, is my understanding. So I'm not surprised that Team Ninja sort of, I don't know enough about it to talk about it here, but like, yeah, Ninja Gaiden 1 was a very good game. Like Ninja Gaiden 1 was a tough game, but I really liked it. And the Ninja Gaiden 2 came out and just so good. Ronan says, also, the only thing I'd add to this is I think they were trying to push the meaning of life and existential despair throughout the entire game, mostly from the machine side. The game is fine. I didn't get hooked like others did, though. And then Ronan says also in trash. I don't know if that's in agreement or like that he feels it's hyperbole, but either way, yeah. I have a much higher tolerance for fetch quests than I think a lot of people do. Like, here's the thing, especially if there's some sort of narrative content, even the most basic narrative content where, like, help the widow find her lost ring, and then you go get the ring and you bring it back, and then she offers you a reward or not. In NieR Automata, it didn't even have that, man. They gave you just the barest, like, oh, I've lost my memories, go get the photographs. And, like, remember when you had to push through the sandstorm, and it turned out the secret was just, like, go around the sandstorm, because there was, like, this dune that, like, protected you, but there was nothing in the game to sort of indicate that. I guess it's obvious in retrospect, but it's just so many of the side quests felt like just cookie cutter stamping down the minimum amount of effort to add an extra 20 minutes of running across the map. And like returning to the old factory was, I think, the most egregious example of that, where you know what you want is in the old factory. And the old factory is linear enough that you're going to find it, but you still have to go back through that same environment again. Like, I don't want to dwell on things that I thought were substandard, because there were, like, if I had disliked NieR Automata, I would have stopped playing it. I don't play games that I don't enjoy, and for sure, the preponderance of the time I came out of NieR Automata saying, like, well, I don't know if I made a lot of progress, but I had fun hitting things with my sword. That was a good time. Ronan says, so speaking of games with strong combat, when's Devil May Cry 5 stream happening? You wouldn't be playing that for story. Probably not, but Devil May Cry, there's something about the combat that I've never really grokked it. I'm adequate enough to have finished DMC, the Devil May Cry game that nobody likes except for me, and I enjoyed that well enough. But it'd be interesting to do a deep dive into Devil May Cry, but I've never really been able to like wrap my mind around that combat. And here's me saying that's not a flaw in the combat system, that's a flaw in me. There's something about it that I never really feel comfortable in it, like ever, and might be able to if I played more of it. But again, having played and completed DMC and still saying like I never felt competent with it, I enjoyed it, but I always felt like I was succeeding by accident. It's a Bayonetta thing. Ditto goes for Bayonetta. I played Bayonetta. I finished Bayonetta. Never got good at Bayonetta. Never rose above like 30% competence. Blah 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 says, whoa, sounds like I missed like something amazing. Well, you missed the end of the game, which blah blah blah, if blah 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 look at the screen being like, wait, what happened? Where's the save game? Oh, there are answers to be found in the VOD. I will not force you to watch it. NieR Automata blah 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 deletes your save game. Or at least I chose to. That was trash to this hide quest. Even the fetch quests in 14 are more interesting. Is that Final Fantasy 14? Also hi to blah blah blah. And blah 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 says, oh, I will watch it. It's shorter than you think. Like the timer on this episode is now like out around a minute, like an hour 30, hour 35. After we cut out the beginning and the end, and there's probably like a sum total of like an hour of actual stuff. So that does it. That is my end of game review of NieR Automata. I assure you, I did not think that we were going to finish this game today. I thought that we had at least 2 full episodes of like 3 or 4 hours each to do a D-side playthrough. Thank you very much. I really mean this. Thank you very much to Ronan for coming in and saying, no, you've accidentally started a new game plus. You don't want to do this. You have to go use chapter select. I'm just letting you know, I would not have worked that out on my own. I would have played for probably a few hours, said, nothing's happening, I don't understand this, ended the episode, gone and looked it up, and probably felt a little bit frustrated by that, so you saved a lot of time, so thank you very much. I did not finish the Nexus stream from yesterday yet. The Nexus stream from yesterday was interesting. Without saying anything about it, it was one of the more combat-focused episodes. Like, if you watched episode 9, I think it was, or was it 10? I think it was 10. It doesn't matter. If you watched the previous episode of Scarlet Nexus, it was all conversation and shopping. Like, it was all talking to party members. Then the next episode that we did turned out to be 98% combat with that classic Scarlet Nexus lore advancement, like storytelling at the very beginning and the very end. So that was interesting. We're not going to go into Scarlet Nexus except to say that here's maybe where we'll end. Scarlet Nexus is a very good example of a game that I feel gets right in the storytelling and combat department a lot of what I felt could have been improved here. And it was interesting accidentally falling into a situation where I was playing both of these games side by side, because Scarlet Nexus has a combat system that feels like it's continuously evolving, and it continues to introduce enemy types and attack patterns and party member options that allow you to mix up what you're doing, so the combat constantly feels fresh. And there's so much happening that I have difficulty articulating what's going on while I'm doing it, because by the time I got any sentence out, 5 more things would have happened, and it's a lot to keep track of. There's a lot of like visual stuff happening that you want to continue to parse. So I really adore the combat system in that game, and the story. You can say many things about the story in Scarlet Nexus, but no one's going to accuse it of being slow moving. I mean, it's got a lot to deliver. I will share, and you'll hear more about this at the end of Scarlet Nexus, the side quests in Scarlet Nexus are garbage. It's the same thing. They're not fetch quests, but they're bad in a different way. We'll talk about that more in our Scarlet Nexus streams. People who have watched those episodes know how I feel about them. But the side quests in these games could do with a lot of extra work because they feel neither particularly rewarding, nor well-designed, nor illuminating on how to play the game. Some games would use side quests to expand your tactical options or to introduce you to better and more efficient ideas on how to play that you might not have come across on your own. So let's put in a side quest to guide players towards this revelation. And no, the side quests in Scarlet Nexus, almost to a T, require you to carefully play suboptimally in order to defeat the enemies in a highly specific way for no purpose than to say that you've done it. And it's like, why? What is the point of that except to make it artificially difficult? Anyway, that's a whole other topic. Ronan says side quests are hard. Reminds me of when I tried playing Assassin's Creed Origins recently. Yeah, Origins... Okay, we're going to get into a whole thing about Assassin's Creed, and I don't want to dive too much into that. I will only say that the Assassin's Creed franchise has gone up and down with the quality of their side content, with real good, strong standouts being things like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and its follow-on, whose name I always forget, Rogue. I think that was that one. And then... Odyssey, all standing out as having exemplary side quests. Like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's difficult to even parse what is main story versus what is a side quest because they put so much effort into all of it. And I had so, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey represents a high watermark for open world side quest production, with its only direct competition being like The Witcher 3, which, of course, just completely wipes it out. Like, The Witcher 3 is the standard to beat, but in terms of like Ubisoft open world designs, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is as good as I've seen. Not yet played Valhalla. We'll see if that catches up. That is a very long outro, you guys. This turned out to be a much shorter episode than expected, but we still got a pretty decent chunk out of it. I am going to go raid over to twitch.tv/Samalander, who I believe is continuing his adventures in Factorio. Thank you so much for joining us for our full and complete playthrough of NieR Automata. I'm very glad to have met Addy and to have Ronan here and others who were familiar with the game to help sort of smooth out some of the bumps, some of the hurdles, get us past those so that we would know at least what to do to proceed. As always, very, very much appreciated. And we will see you again very soon for some more streaming adventures. Look forward in the days to come for a really good story push to complete Scarlet Nexus, preferably before the end of the year. And as previously discussed, I'd say that it's very likely we will be starting up our next major story playthrough of another game that I've never played. I have a relatively good idea of what to expect from it based on others in its genre, let's say. But we will be probably starting that up as we head into the late year holidays here in the United States. So I'll have some time off, and I'm very much looking forward to experiencing some of that with you guys. Addy says, it was a nice stream. I'm glad to have found your channel. Addy, we're very glad to have you here. And I know that NieR Automata has like a very robust and very like people really, really love it. And I would only hope that nothing that I've said here sounds dismissive of the experience. We each have our different sort of like takes on stuff, and I want to make sure that I'm delivering the best and most clear information about how I felt as possible, but in a way that never disrespects people who like really do enjoy some of the people that made it. So that's just some thoughts on the way out. Let's go ahead and yes! Okay, just very quickly. Tomorrow will, in fact, be a new Blobbity Bard stream, which is to say another new episode of Wildermyth. We'll be doing that game, the procedurally generated RPG that, at the moment at least, features Mia, Azric, Drienne, Blobbity Blah, and Samalander. They are all active party members. We picked up Samalander in the last episode. But the thing about Wildermyth is that any of those characters could die at any time. So it is very interesting to see how their adventure progresses, and that will be happening in tomorrow's stream. We are out of time, you guys. Thank you so, so much. Thank you for joining me through NieR Automata. I'm so glad that I did finally have a chance to play with, and we will see you again in the days to come for some more fun streams. Until next time, I hope you have a great day.